Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Benady, and I'm the COO of the Jacquemus House. I'm really delighted to be here with you. And I admit that when I was asked to give a speech about truth, I was a bit surprised because we don't necessarily associate truth with fashion. Fashion can sometimes be construed as a bit artificial, but for me, fashion is really the expression of the first way that you want to come across to people. We had just come to Paris with my husband and my 3 children, which were born in New York. I spent 10 years for French fashion labels working in high up management. And over the past 10 years, I've been lucky to work with entrepreneurs such as yourselves. And with Céline, which is one of the best luxury houses in the world and teams that are fantastic. A few months ago, I met an entrepreneur, Simon Jacquemus, and this encounter was very significant. We both this was going to completely overwhelm the rest of our lives. We felt present, we felt very aligned, and it was good for us to be able to listen to each other's truths. In the US for the last 2 years, I helped French brands and I helped them get their brands out into the American market. So that meant boosting their turnover, and to do so, they really needed to love their products, they needed to know the market, they needed to know the sector of luxury goods. And it was really all about making a relationship with entrepreneur directors, which gave part of their project, part of their baby. And above all, I really wanted to give them, to ensure that they were able to give a very loyal image of their brand. So there was a real difference between French and American culture. And in New York, I discovered that people thought that in France we were very brutally direct. For me, I think that being direct is a huge quality, especially in business. But when I say brutally, I say that because people were tending to focus on the negative. In France, at least, if we criticize something, then we do so. If we don't hide our words. If something is extraordinary, then we might think that it's suspicious. And that's why Erasmus is a very good example. New York, the 10 years that I was there, I was lucky enough to grow my children grow up in an environment that was completely different to the one that I grew up in France. Let me give you an example. My children were 3 and I took them to school. They had to get up onto a stage and introduce themselves to the entire class. When I was young, I did ballet, like many young French. I wasn't really motivated to go. I wasn't very good at ballet, and I had an instructor who really wanted us to progress and work on our mistakes. It was very strict and negative. And then a few years later, when my daughter Anna said that she wanted to do dance classes, I went with her. And I hope that you won't tell her this, but I will admit that she wasn't actually very good either. However, her instructor wouldn't stop congratulating her. He helped her make progress. He showed her what she needed to work on, but in a very positive manner by saying to her that she was amazing. But not just. Also because this learning process taught our daughter to make progress, to train, to go beyond herself in such a positive atmosphere. But I feel like I'm speaking to an audience that does that all day long, because you are entrepreneurs, you are founders, and obviously you would have heard that your project is very risky a lot of the time. Listening to your truth and being driven by your truth is something which you have to do on a daily basis. And the truth that I'm speaking about is that at my company, we body truth as much as possible. Simon is not from a rich background. He didn't grow up in a big fashion capital. He didn't do high-level fashion studies. He lost his mother when he was very young, and he decided to use his maiden name to use it as the name of his company. So with himself, with no funding, with a lot of boldness and guts, he started his business journey. And that's what I'm speaking about, something which I see on a daily basis when I work alongside him. So one of my favorite stories about Simon is that when we met Anna Wintour, she was the head writer at Vogue. And the way that our brand was seen back in the day is nothing compared to how it's seen today. And one day, Simon was told that he was going to head up a very large-scale fashion brand. And he said back, well, I already head up a large-scale fashion brand. And for me, that answer really says everything. It embodies the attitude that everything is possible, having confidence and trust in your truth, and then being able to assume it. This level of courage was transmitted to other people working at the clothing label. I don't know if you know which bag I'm speaking about. It's a very tiny handbag. It's so small that you can't even put a mobile telephone in it. It's one of the first bags of its type. It should never have been created in a fashion label, but Simon loved it, and therefore he made a whole line of it with different colors, and it was one of the flagship products of the label. So you need to believe in truth and never compromise in what you believe in. It's very inspirational, and what is inspirational for Simon is that he was able to believe in his truth and allow himself to evolve. And I think that that's absolutely what has made his clothing label unique and creative. And I know that it already inspires many young designers to listen to themselves and believe in their own truth. Thank you very much for listening.